Hello and welcome back to Boxing Social in association with Betfred. My name is Ayman Khan. We are here in London, Euston, with the one and only Ricky Hatton, who's announcing his return in an exhibition against Marco Antonio Barrera. First of all, Ricky, how's life treating you?
Brilliant, to be honest. Yeah, it's been to go back in the training camp again, and looking after myself and shed a bit of weight, and get my game plan together and everything like that. It's like the good old days, and even though it's an exhibition, Marco Antonio Barrera. I mean, what a legend. I mean, I think we all know how good Marco Antonio Barrera is, but I mean, I'm gonna find out firsthand just how good he is, and that's the exciting thing for me. I've always been a fan of Marco, and I think if you're not a boxing fan if you wasn't, but to actually share the ring with him and have a move about with him, I can't wait. It's going to be one of the best days of my boxing career, I think, to be honest with you. I've always been an admirer of Marco, like we all have.
Your training fighter is just someone I always see on Instagram as well. You're hitting the bag, you're still keeping the gloves on, you're always involved, you're active, you're a pundit as well too. I remember having a conversation with you a while back and asking you, had you been approached for exhibitions where you wanted to do an exhibition? You said you were always open. Why is the time now right for you to come in and step in the ropes through Marco?
Because I had a phone call. I think when the first one that was done was Mike Tyson, Roy Jones, wasn't it? And people said, "Oh, would you be interested in doing that?" I said, "Absolutely. If there's somebody that can put the show together and do a professional job and with the right person and opponent," I said, "I'd be up for that, absolutely." And then the phone call went. And then by European events and the conversation went. Listen, Ricky, you said that you'd be open to doing one. Would you like to do one at the Manchester Arena? What we see is it's been such a tough time with COVID and mental health due to the to the COVID situation. We know mental health is very, very high on your agenda, Ricky. Would you like to have one last fight at the Manchester Arena, and we can do it as like a concert, as like a celebration of coming out of lockdown, and we can raise money for mental health, and and people can watch you fight and say, look where Ricky was 6 years ago, look at him now. And that's what you can do when you can change your life around, if you put your mind to it. And it's an easy decision to make. I went absolutely in a heartbeat. And then when they turned around and said, oh, what do you think about your friend Marco Antonio Barrera? I thought, oh, brilliant, yeah. Let's get it on. I can't wait.
Yeah, coming on to Marco, obviously a legend in the game like yourself. But why Marco? Why Marco as the dance partner here?
Well, I mean, it will be competitive, absolutely, without a doubt, because we're very proud people. We're champions at the end of the day, and even though we're retired, we're not dead. And Marco would not want to come over to Manchester and have Ricky Hatton box his ears off. And I don't want Marco to come over to Manchester and box my ears off. So that's where the competitiveness comes into it. But there's an understanding, and because I know Marco, I know that understanding is there, because even though it's an exhibition, when 18,000 fans, roar, if one shot goes in, if it's someone I don't know, I might put my foot down a little bit more than I should do, wouldn't it? But because Marco's my friend and everything like that, we know what's going to be too much and what's not enough, and then there'll be an understanding, and we know what's going to make it entertaining, and what's too far and what's not too far. I can't wait. It's going to be brilliant.
Okay, so for this, in terms of an exhibition approach, it must change how you've prepared for fights in the past. So will this be a case of kind of just showing off your talents, what you have in the sport, what you were like, the vintage Ricky Hatton performances of the past there, and not kind of going full throttle?
No, I mean it will be full throttle. I've never done anything in fast forward ever, so I think it will be full throttle. But obviously with a little bit of my foot on the pedal, because it is an exhibition. But all the people used to love it when I used to attack, when I used to body punch, when I used to back my opponents to the ropes and change the angles to get the body shots. All that's going to, because that's what people want to see, and to do it against a master like Marco Antonio Barrera, I know I'm going to have to be on my toes. We know what a good left jab he's got and what boxing ability he's got. When he beat Nassim Hamed, I don't think nobody expects us to what he did to Nas, and that's what I've got to deal with. It's all right, Ricky Hatton's showing his best stuff off. Marco's going to be showing his best stuff off, so it's going to be entertaining. I can't wait. I hope the fans are as excited as me.
Exhibitions have different rules, Ricky. What's your understanding of the rules? Is there a winner? Is there a loser? Is there?
Excuse me. There's no winner. There's no loser. just bigger gloves, less rounds and shorter rounds. And people turn around and say, you know what, I used to do 12 3-minute rounds, which is 38 minutes, like Marco, at pace, where this is 8 2-minute rounds, which ultimately is 16 minutes. So me and Marco should be able to do that stood on our head. We should be able to do it and not be able to come up for air. And if I'm looking at it that way, I know Marco will be looking at it that way. So, even though it's an exhibition, you can see it's going to be 100 mile an hour and exciting. And it's got to be exciting, because let's have it right, even though it's an exhibition, if it's not exciting, we might as well not bother turning up, we'll put a show on for the fans. There will not be one fan that will go away from here disappointed.
Is this the start of a few exhibitions? This is a one-off? What is it, Ricky?
I'm not looking that far ahead, to be honest with you. Going to see how this goes, and if people enjoy the night, enjoy the occasion, they enjoy me putting on my skills for one last time, and they want to see it again against someone similar to the standard of Marco. I'll definitely look at it, but I mean, I'm just keeping an open mind. It's just coming out of the lockdown to have one last move about and hear that there's only one Ricky Hatton again. People turn around and say, well, what are you doing it for? Are you doing it for money? Are you doing it, for what? We don't want to see you get hurt. What we're doing it for, in lockdown, I lost friends through the COVID. Like, I know there's a lot of people out there who've probably lost friends through COVID. And I've lost family with mental health due to the COVID in this time. And I want to get in that ring and people say, listen, so Ricky, the state he was in 6 or 7 years ago, well, look what he's now, 43 years of age, look at the shape he's in. Look what you can do when you can change your life around if you set your mind to it. And then when you've had 60,000, 40,000 think there's only one Ricky Hatton, I want to hear that one last time. People say, what are you doing it for? I think I've made it pretty obvious. I think if you're one of these people turn around and say to me, what are you doing it for money, or what you doing, for, I feel like jumping down my phone and punching fuck out of them, to be honest with you. If they can't see why I'm doing this, but with the mental health side of things, and when you've all your boxing, all your working life, you've been hearing there's only one Ricky out and the war of the crowd, that's why I'm doing it again. I think it's pretty obvious.
Just on that point, Ricky, do you understand some of the concern, maybe not specifically with yourself, but when Evander Holyfield and those types come back?
Yeah,
and
Evander Holyfield sadly was a fighter, you know what I mean, and whoever put that on, I think they need fucking shooting, to be honest with you. Me and Mark are under no illusions. I said when I made my comeback a few years back, I said, no, my best days are behind me, and I still stand by that today, but this isn't a fight, it's an exhibition, and me and Mark are going to show off our skills for one night only, in a controlled environment. Going to raise some money for mental health, you know what I mean? I'm going to be able to hear that roar of the crowd again, you know what I mean? I think it's a very poor way of looking at things if you say, are you doing it for the money? No. It's a lot bigger picture than that, why I'm doing it, you know what I mean? Like say, I'm retired, I'm not dead. I think Marco would echo that with me, yeah.
Ricky, a couple of things away from this fight before I bring it back to you. Last night, Wembley Stadium, Tyson Fury, victorious with a picture-perfect uppercut, your reaction to it?
Yeah, it was an occasion, wasn't it? One of the biggest British heavyweight fights, in history. And at Wembley Stadium on St George's Day, and it was one of them events where you could, fight fans are going to be able to say, I was actually there for that. It was such a good occasion, and Dillian just couldn't quite close the distance when Tyson kept him on the edge of that jab, softened him up a little bit and then walked him onto a lovely uppercut, and that's why he's the best. I mean, that's why he's the best with the performance, with a fantastic uppercut he pulled out, and the crowd, the atmosphere, you know what I mean? Tyson's fights are occasions now. A little bit back in the day with me, when Ricky Hatton's fights were occasions because of the following I had, and Tyson's getting that as well.
Were you expecting anything more from Fury-Whyte there? A lot of people were saying maybe he'd jump on Tyson.
I think Dillian did the best he could. I mean, at the end of the day, Dillian had to close the distance, and when you've got 6'10" Tyson Fury, closing the distance, you need speed in order to close the distance. And Dillian's attributes is obviously his punching power, isn't it? It's not his probably speed of feet, speed of movement, and he just probably didn't have the attributes to beat a Tyson Fury. I think to beat a Tyson Fury, you've got to be fast and explosive and moving quick, which isn't Dillian's forte. No respect to Dillian. But I mean, Dillian deserved his shot. He was #1 contender for 3 years. I'm proud of him that he got his shot. And he did himself proud. He can always say, I fought for the heavyweight championship of the world against Tyson Fury at Wembley. That old day, even though it ended in defeat, Dillian will remember that day for the rest of his life.
A lot of talk about Tyson Fury potentially retiring. There is the undisputed fight there, potentially down the line. What's your thoughts about retiring or going for that undisputed?
I don't think he'll retire. I know he wants to fight Usyk, he wants to fight Joshua and that. I think he'll retire just so Eddie and AJ pull the fingers out. I think that's what he wants. He might retire and say, well, I'm retiring now. And if Eddie and AJ think they've lost it, then he might stand a better chance of getting it on. I think Tyson will. He's a fighting man. He just loves to fight, doesn't he? I think Tyson will probably be on his settee in about 5 years' time when he retires and thinks, I'll give it another go. That's Tyson, isn't it? Yeah.
There is the feeling that maybe that fight won't happen, the undisputed, so he might retire. Do you think it's likely now that fight does happen once Usyk and AJ get it on?
Well, I mean, to be honest with you, the reason why we're waiting for this game is to try and become the best, isn't it? Tyson's the best. Usyk is #2, and AJ are just behind there. You want to fight the best. Tyson's the best. You don't want to retire without fighting the best. I think they'd want to get it on.
Let's bring this back to you, Ricky. AO Arena, Manchester, your hometown.
No, I'm not going to take this fucking longer. I've got 18 more to do it.
No, it's final one, Ricky. You're going to hear that roar of the crowd. You talked about the chant that you're going to be here that you used to hear through your career. It's going to be some feeling, Ricky.
Oh, absolutely. People say, the one thing you miss as a fighter, I mean, the worst thing for a fighter for me is when you walk to the ring and you hear the roar of the crowd. You walk into the ring and you think to yourself, oh, what am I doing this for? Oh, my Lord, what am I doing this for? It's horrible. But then when you hand the gloves up and you retire and it's not there no more, that adrenaline, that rush, that's the one thing you miss. And I think I speak for all fighters when I say that. And to get the chance to hear it again, you know what I mean? I thought it had gone, but now it's come back. We're going to hear it again. And people say, well, what are you doing this for? I think it's pretty obvious, to be honest with you, yeah.
Ricky, wishing you all the best. Looking forward to the press conference. Thank you so much for speaking to Boxer Social. Much appreciated. Thank you, Ricky.